Scholarship or not, we have two guys behind us, Yele and Kenny Bassett, that they're going to push us to the limit. Both great guys. If you guys had the opportunity to watch them in practice, you would see.
Hello, fans of the University of Oregon Ducks. Another week, there's lots of Ducks news, so let's get to it. First off, I was at the Oregon-UCLA baseball game on Saturday. Ducks lost 8-6, but they won the first two, meaning that they won the series against the number 5 team in the nation, the UCLA Bruins. That coming off a sweep of Arizona State, who were ranked number 15 earlier in the week. Coach Horton's squad is really on a roll. So Monday and Tuesday they host San Francisco at PK Park. Then it's on the road again for a series next Friday, starting then at Stanford. Now, of course, all eyes are on spring football right now. As Chip Kelly's team, they're going through practices, preparing for the spring game, and everyone is off limits from seeing it, except for the coaches who attended the coaches clinic held this past weekend. One other group is going to have access to the coaches, at least, though. On April 19th will be the annual Women's Football Clinic, which will be featuring presentations from the Oregon coaching staff. It'll be held at the Mashofsky Center. It's an annual event where every guy in Eugene wishes they could attend and become insanely jealous of all the ladies around the Eugene-Springfield area who get to participate, get exclusive access to the football coaches, and able to talk a little Duck sports. Cost is $35. I wish I could go. Details are on goducks.com. If you're female in the Eugene area, April 19th, be sure to attend. I'd be lying if I said I hadn't at least pondered how I might be able to sneak in. Also coming up next week is what will hopefully become an annual tradition. The charity bowling tournament with the Oregon football team will be on April 14th at noon. The event benefits the Officer Kilcolin Scholarship Fund. It's presented by O Heroes with several sponsors. It will be hosted at Emerald Lanes. There'll be 24 teams of 4 players with a 5th bowler added to each team that is a current player with the Oregon football program. Cost is $400 per team. Proceeds go to the scholarship fund. It's a good cause, and it should be good fun for any person or organization that would like to participate. Registration for the event is on goducks.com. Now, as for the practices themselves, the team is as tight-lipped as they have ever been about what is actually going on. They're giving interviews after practice and not really saying a whole lot as far as details go.
We have leaders at each position. Kenyon Monroe, running back. When the offensive line, besides Carson, there's some older kids that have played in there. Ryan Clan's played a lot of football for us. Nick Cody's played a lot of football for us. Ronas Gross has been a year playing for us. Carrington Armstrong's played for us. At wideout, Josh Huff has been around for a long time. Justin Hoffman's been around for a long time.
So everyone's left to kind of speculate on how things are. One detail that did emerge is something that has been predicted for some time now, but it's still sad to hear. Local Eugene 5-star blue chipper Curtis White, who is a Sheldon grad with very high hopes of becoming Oregon's next superstar tight end, instead is having to hang up the helmet for the last time. Injuries have derailed his career. We unfortunately never got to see Curtis White on the Autzen turf, but I'm sure every Duck fan repeats my thoughts on it that I extend out to Curtis White, saying thank you for being a Duck, and best of luck in all future endeavors, Curtis White. Some other tidbits that recently appeared. Carson York is actually practicing, though in a limited scale. He's doing some drills while he recovers from that nasty knee injury he had back in January in the Rose Bowl. Bennett and Mariota continue to battle. I expect them to continue to fight head-to-head, and a starter may not be announced until right before the Arkansas State game. People seemed really impressed by Eric Armstead, the mountain of a human being that was the #1 offensive tackle in the country, who will be playing defensive tackle and defensive end for the Oregon Ducks. Other than that, there's not a lot of details out there. We're just going to have to wait until the spring game comes around on Saturday, April 28th. Now, the program did come out with a pretty cool video this week if you missed it. It's on the goducks.com YouTube channel as well as goducks.com. John Boyette gave a tour of Autzen Stadium that's worthwhile. Please go check it out. Now, basketball season may be over, but the postseason accolades keep coming in. This week, Garrett Sim was named to the Pac-12 All-Academic Team. It's the third straight year that he was recognized for it. So congratulations, Garrett Sim. In track and field news, this past weekend, the Pepsi Team Invitational was held at Hayward Field. The outdoor track season is now in full swing, and Oregon flat out dominated in Tracktown, USA. Fair to say, the Ducks won the day. The men's and women's teams combined to win 16 events, which was highlighted by a record-setting performance by Alex Kaczynski in the 5,000 meters. Both the men's and women's teams won the points totals, and the Oregon's women's team remains ranked #1 in the country, while the men's team is ranked 16th. In the other Oregon sports that are currently active, women's lacrosse are on a 3-game winning streak. Today, they're hosting UC Davis in Eugene. Softball is ranked 17th in the country, with Washington coming to Eugene next Tuesday and Wednesday. The men's tennis team has hit a bit of a rough patch. They've lost 4 of their last 5 matches. They're currently ranked 62nd in the nation, and they host Arizona and Utah in Eugene next weekend. The women's team, meanwhile, will be on the road. They're playing at Washington State and at Idaho next week. Lastly, golf. The men's team will be at the Western Intercollegiate in Santa Cruz, California next weekend, while the women's team will be at Half Moon Bay. So that does it for your Oregon sports update. Now, as for FishDuck.com, we have news as well. FishDuck's team is currently expanding. Recently, we had the first of hopefully many great historical articles to come from Jim Maloney. Hopefully you had a chance to catch that out. And we are proud to also welcome to the writing staff Ronald Hill. Look for Ronald's articles coming up on Mondays very soon. Now, if you think you have the chops to write for FishDuck.com, we want to hear from you. Please contact Charles and myself at the following email addresses. Now, we've been receiving a lot of high praise from coaches across the country, even around the world, and we are very grateful for all of that. Recently, we were featured on Full Throttle Online, as well as HighSpeedSpread.com. Both featured recent FishDuck.com content on their site, and thank you to all the sites that continue to support FishDuck.com by reposting our links. AddictedToQuack.com, Duck Sports Now, GoDucks.net, the Wines Family blog, and of course our friends at Duck Territory, just to name a few. Now, some pretty awesome content was up on our site this past week. If you missed it, please check the Playbook tab section of the site for our complete archives of articles and videos. This week's FishDuck video was a breakdown of the short passing game from the various spread coaches around the Pac-12, done by Josh Schlichter, and I also had a video interview with former Oregon cornerback Eric Edwards. And we thought we'd have some fun with spring practices being closed to all media, meaning that we can no longer provide the FishDuck spring scrimmage reports that for years have been a staple of spring ball. So instead, Charles and I decided that we would print out a past scrimmage report from 2007, letting hindsight be 2020 to see just how wrong FishDuck was in some of his assessments. Some other stories of note from this past week: David Mello had an interview with gangrene defensive lineman Mark Schmidt. Josh White looked back at the record-setting 1998 season of Achilles Smith. Mark Flores gave us our weekly recruiting fix, and Jared Young had an absolutely fantastic article about Oregon's defending national champion acrobatics and tumbling team that is certainly not to be missed. Of course, Kim Hastings provided some humor on Saturday, and Steve Mayer came through on Sunday today with a fantastic piece on Andy McNamara, the social media guru and SID at the University of Oregon. Now, for all of our articles, please check out the Playbook or the Fish Wrap archive. Oh, and don't forget about the Fish Tank or the Fish Bowl. Those are our video archives and message board. There's lots happening at FishDuck.com, so please come join in the fun. And now, my random tweet of the week.
Hey, will you shut up?
Thank you.
This week for my music recommendation, say hello to one of the most bizarre bands you will ever witness, PEELANDER-Z. Now, PEELANDER-Z is a Japanese punk band that actually formed in New York in 1998. They created a formula that combined popular Japanese culture, punk rock, pro wrestling, and bizarre visuals on par with the Aquabats or Gwar. They're basically what would occur if the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers became a punk band. I'm really not sure of any other way to describe them except awesome. They've released 6 albums, they tour constantly, and if you attend a show, expect to see human bowling, wrestling, meat throwing, and all sorts of psychotic, awesome weirdness. Check them out. So that does it for me this week. Thank you as always for watching. I'm a little sunburnt from the baseball game on Saturday, but it's all good. I'm glad to have been able to see our ducks. I don't get to very often being down here in LA. As always, this is Kurt saying go fish, get hooked, go ducks.